Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. I do apologize that this video is coming out late. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. It was fantastic seeing my family. I hope all you guys that were celebrating enjoyed the day famously. But here I am getting into the new patch updates for Nier. Normally I would break up this video into two because there's a double banner, there's a lot of stuff, but because this video is coming out late, I'm just going to put the two together. So, I do apologize for a slightly longer video, but I feel like that's just easier overall for everyone. So, that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so we do have the full Nier collaboration officially out and ready to go. Honestly, this is all new to me. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already jumped in, checked out other CC videos, probably done some pulls here and there, but I'm kind of getting this for the first time. I was out till 3 a.m. last night. We were drinking, partying, having fun. And so really, just after getting this set up, as you guys can see, I'm in a new place once again. And so I'm ready to go. Alright, so let's jump down here. November 27th was the day, and so here we have the first new notice right here. So there is a 2B Incursion crossover event daily free draw 1 on now. Alright, so that is pretty nice. Free draws are always cool. Alright, so let's keep on going back down here, and let's start down at the bottom. Alright, so it looks like I'm going to move through this a little bit quicker just because I don't want this video to be super long, but we do have a new step up, which hopefully the first draw is free. Then we have the double banner right here for Tifa and Yuffie. Honestly, when I first saw this, when they released it on the official X page, I was just so psyched. Nier is just such a cool game in general. I feel like just the raw aesthetics of Nier have always been super appealing, and it's just a very unique world, right? The entire game itself is just a really abstract take on storytelling, art, etc. And so it is really cool to get this collaboration, and I think Yuffie and Tifa are really good choices off the start, although I think Lucia would have been pretty cool too. It does look like we do have, and I saw this morning, there's a new ultimate weapon for Aerith from what I understand, which is crazy. I can't wait to see what this is. I'm going to check this out. I will say, though, that I really, they need to give Cloud's new ultimate weapon earlier rather than later, I think. That was a huge mistake they did the first time, is waiting so long to give Cloud that ultimate weapon. So as of November 27th, the 2B Incursion crossover draw is officially on now. We will go be checking this out at a later point in time in the game. As most of you guys probably know, this is a huge turning point in the game where these are the first costumes that we've ever gotten that are going to be able to come with another command ability. And the way that it's going to work is that whatever command ability the equipment has, that is going to replace the first materia slot. And so we're essentially getting access to a third ability, which, I have my yin-yang take on this. I would say that in one regard, it's super cool that we're getting such a change like this to the game. It's going to open up a massive world of possibilities. It's something that I feel like, we thought might have come with accessories or stuff like that in the past, and now it's coming on gear. And so this is going to dramatically shift, not only the meta of the game, I think, but also how we're approaching the game in general. Now, the dark side of this is that essentially costumes like this power creep basically every other costume in the game up until now. So these costumes are going to be so by and large better than what is there before that is a huge drawback, I would say, is just the raw power creep of this. Other stuff with them adding requirements, in order to max out the army of one ability, you needed to be able to clear the escalation 25, which I feel like was not a good move on their part. I don't feel like the levels of these enemy skills should be locked behind content like that. So I really disagree with that take, but it is what it is. So I think that there will be cool things that we kind of discover with these new armors, but I think for a lot of people it's going to be tough to keep up with this power creep, which has been pretty astronomical for a long time, right? Like, super whales and krakens are so far away from free to play that it's like not even like perceivable at this point. But there are some really, really, really good free to play players that, you know, make it work. But now with this change, I'm curious to see, you know, how much harder it is to keep up without being able to get all this new stuff. So, yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. But let's go back here. Let's keep going. So we have another step up right here. Hopefully the first draw is free. We do have the event escalation 2B and pod 042 on now, which looks super fun. I haven't got to try out any of this stuff now. Like, I've literally just logged into Ever Crisis. It's been a wild adventure here, and still like working my way to get to Croatia in the next 2 months. So, but here's the escalation battle. Looks like it'll be a super fun one. They've been killing it lately on the escalations. Like, fighting lightning, so sick. Fighting 2B, super cool as well. So just it's cool to see this stuff. It's like good and bad, right? So the Yorha number 2 Type B intercept. This is essentially the new event that came out with the Nier reincarnation. Rearranging your formation to take advantage of a fight's battle effect will be the key to progress. All right, that's always true most of the time. We have a co-op battle for Odin on now, so if you're trying to get some of those noble memories, this would be the place to do it. If you're looking for, you know, finding pickup groups online to farm these quests, come join our Discord. There is a link in the description of this video, and if you're looking for a guild, we can also get you sorted as well. Alright, so here's the 2B Incursion event campaign on. We'll get up to 34 days of 10 free draw a day, which is great. Enjoy 50% more rewards from summon quests during this campaign, which is fantastic because they just released the Ramu EX3 fight, which should be super fun. Log in to get Mako Gem Abraxas, so I guess this is the new Aerith Ultimate Weapon times 10. That's actually really cool. Log in to get Mako Gem Abraxas times 10. Oh, per week? Dang, that's actually pretty tough. I thought it was times 10 per day. That would have been a lot better. Up to Blue Crystal times 750 and more every week. So we'll probably get like maybe 20, 30, or 40 Abraxas Mako Gem shards. Clear all panels to get a 2B enemy ability, limited wallpaper, and more. Alright, so that's super cool. I'm sure this wallpaper actually looks really cool. Log in to get Blue Crystal up to 3,000. So we should be getting a decent amount of crystals for sure. Alright, so let's keep going. Ramu Summon Stream Expansion. So we have the EX3 fight. I haven't tried it yet. I'm sure it's going to be pretty hard, but I bet it'll also be super fun. I'm sure there's already some great players who have already just sunk this. And here we go. New features. Gear command abilities and sub gear. Oh, sub gear. Alright, so easily switch between materia command abilities and gear command abilities. Alright, so it looks like there's a button added here, which is pretty cool. A button to swap between gear command abilities and materia command abilities has been added to the character screen. So yeah, like I said, if you have a fit or an outfit with a command ability, it's going to take over your first materia slot, but you can basically toggle this on and off if you did want to use the materia slot without using the actual, while also still using the gear. Only certain gear have gear command abilities. We're aware, Applebot, thank you very much. Going forward, gear command abilities will be added to past gear. Okay, alright, so that's how they're going to deal with the power creep. So this is a good thing. This is a very good sign. On December 24th, we plan to make sure that each character has potential access to at least one piece of gear with a gear command ability. I hope that doesn't mean that we're going to get a banner for every character with a gear command ability up until December 24th. I'm guessing they're just going to be adding it slowly up until December 24th. Also, sub-gear equipment slots have been made available. Our abilities of gear equipped as sub-gear will increase points at 50% effectiveness. That's crazy. So it's basically like having an offhand weapon where you get 50% of the raw stats. And so with a sub-gear, you're going to get 50% of the raw stats too. I don't exactly see where it's being equipped here. But I'm guessing it should be pretty, you know, easy to figure out. With the addition of sub-gear, certain R abilities are being adjusted. Alright, so details. R abilities with level 1 activation requirements that cannot be met when at 50% effectiveness will be given a weaker effect that can be activated at one point. That's good to know. R abilities with effects that are difficult to provide at reduced effectiveness will not have their effectiveness changed. Only the required points for level 1 will be reduced to 1 point. So basically they're saying that, you know, no matter what the equipment is, they're going to try and make it so you get at least something from it if you're not getting much from the raw 50%, but it's probably not going to be too much of a difference. But I mean, having command abilities from gear is just going to be extremely powerful no matter what, I would say. All right, regarding the guild battle attempts issue, we have received reports regarding the ability to redo guild battles by following certain steps during the Guild Battle 17 event. Following our investigation, we have concluded that ability to redo guild battles constitutes unintended behavior. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by this. To redo guild battles. How do you redo a guild battle? Below is one example of the steps required to bring about this unintended behavior. Attempt an official... They always do this. They tell you exactly how to do it. Attempt an official match. If it looks like it will be impossible to achieve the desired results, force quit the application before the battle concludes. Yeah, this has been a... Thank you, Applebot. You're 17 months behind on figuring out that this has been a thing in the game. Having other guild members attempt an official match for the same stage and defeat the boss. Yeah, so we've already talked about this in the past, that this has been a problem in the game. Once the boss has been defeated, load the application again and select retry. No idea why they're teaching everyone how to do this. Because the boss has been defeated, the battle ends without consuming any attempts. This behavior occurs because the game is programmed to prevent attempts from being consumed during the battle results step after a boss being attempted has been defeated by other guild members. Alright, so let's get down to the part where they're going to fix this, alright? This feature is to make it possible to intentionally blah 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 blah. Additionally, we have received reports makes it possible to get swords. No such case has been found in the data we've been keeping up until this point. Yeah, right. There's definitely guilds that do this. In order to stop players from intentionally preventing attempts from being consumed, we are temporarily making it so that attempts will still be consumed even when other players defeat a boss. As a result, however, when multiple guild members are fighting the same boss, only the battle result of the first battle in which the boss is defeated will count, and all guild members fighting the boss will still lose attempts. We are aware that this is not ideal. No, it is not ideal, and we will be attempting to find other solutions. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they haven't actually fixed the previous problem where you can drop a key at the very last second and carry over into the next day and then get yourself refreshed a new key. Once we have information regarding the changes and adjustments that we will be making, we'll make another announcement. Honestly, I have very little faith that they will do this because we basically heard nothing about the last time there was Guild War cheating, and as far as I know, they haven't fixed anything that has to do with that. So it seems like Applebot has come into this practice where they're like, hey guys, we're aware that there's a problem, and because they've spoken on it, they're basically just like, well, we made it seem like we're doing something, but it doesn't really seem like they, put forth too much of an effort to do anything other than, make as much money as possible. It does really feel like that lately. So I think the artists and the devs working on the game are doing a great job. But like I said, I've always had a problem with the leadership of this company and how they go about stuff. So I guess we'll just have to see what they actually do. I wouldn't be surprised if within a month we heard nothing from them, but hopefully they will actually take responsibility and make the changes that need to be made in order to make the game fair for everyone. So I suggest they start by fixing the first problem that has not been addressed since they gave us that original address on that original problem back in the day. So that's going to conclude the notices. Let's take a quick look at the shop. All right. This is, I guess, a Black Friday shop. It doesn't look any different than normal. This is like a almost Christmas celebration, Nier collaboration, and we still get the exact same shop. I'm just baffled by them sometimes. All right, so let's go over to the draw. First, let's actually take a look at this new ultimate weapon. So, where are we gonna go to? Exchange. Where are you? Boom, perfect. Down to Mako Gem Exchange. Aerith Princess Guard, Aerith Abraxas. Okay, so this is it. This is the new ultimate weapon. I'm so curious. We'll take a look at it, level 130. So this is Viridian Torrent. Charge time 60 seconds, 2 casts, deals 1000% physical magic non-elemental damage to all enemies. Also applied stats debuff tier is increased. Applied stats debuff tier is increased. So potency mid, all enemies, duration plus 30%, max tier extra high. Haste is applied, all allies, duration 20 seconds. Charge time 60 seconds, uses 2. Okay, so essentially applied stats debuff tier. So essentially this looks like it casts a AoE Enfeeble. I'm not exactly sure why they didn't call it that. If I'm missing something and it's slightly different than how I'm interpreting it, please, if one of you guys could drop a comment and correct me, that would be awesome. But it looks like this is an AoE and Enfeeble. I did see a comment by one of the players out there asking for a more in-depth explanation on Enfeeble. Enfeeble is essentially, it increases the debuff tier of whatever debuffs are on the current enemy by 1 tier across the board. So if you had a physical defense down of low and a magic defense down of low, and you cast Enfeeble, it would make both of those low tier debuffs go to mid, right? If they were at mid, it would make them go to high. This is actually really nice because this is basically an AoE Enfeeble. It could also take the tier from high to extra high across the board, and it applies haste. Very good. However, there's no heal on it. I feel like the heal would have been really nice. Like the heal on the Princess Guard is super nice. So I feel like there's going to be times where this one is going to be better, but there will also be times where maybe Princess Guard is still going to be Aerith's best in slot for the boss. That would be my guess. It's just going to depend on what you're fighting. This also gives you boost HP Arcanum, all allies 45 points. Dang, all allies HP 20%. That's very, very, very good. So super strong right there. And then we have Reprieve Arcanum, all allies. So this grants Reprieve to all allies. Wow, never mind. Maybe this is like literally the most OP thing right now in the game for ultimate weapons. So very, very good. You get the haste, the Enfeeble AoE up to the extra tier high with the HP Arcanum and Reprieve Arcanum, which is literally insane. So very, very, very good weapon for Aerith here, guys. So super strong. I hope you guys all have the best of luck in pulling it. Yeah, for me, I feel like I'm not going to be able to get it. I only have 34,000 crystal. I just need to get super lucky. All right, now let's take a look at the actual gear, okay? So maybe we'll take a little break right here, do a couple pulls before we go into the banner review part of this video. So let's see what we got here. I'll just skip through. That would have been sick to get a Braxis right there. All right, so we got one of Tifa's weapons. And we'll do one more just quickly here. Hope your guys' Thanksgiving, if you celebrated, went fantastic. All right, here we go. Beautiful. All right, so I have seen a little bit of these weapons and armor, but I haven't really looked too much. So I'm just going to be kind of taking this on the fly. All right, so let's see what we got. All right, so let's go over here to the banner. First, let's take a look at the actual animations of everything. All right, so here's Tifa's. Pretty cool. Not bad. I do like it. Here's Yuffie's. Oh, I like hers too. That's actually really cool. All right, here we have the... Oh, that's sick. That's actually one of her animations, I think, from actual Rebirth or Remake, which is cool. All right, so let's go down here. Let's go down to the actual fits right here and check them out. So here we have Tifa. Not going to lie, guys. She looks absolutely amazing. She crushes it. We all knew that the girls of Ever Crisis were going to absolutely rock the Nier costumes. Everyone knew that from the beginning, and let's be real, it looks like they both absolutely do. I can't tell which one I like more. Like, Yuffie looks fantastic. Tifa looks fantastic. The weapons look sick. Like, Yuffie's weapon wins, in my opinion. Tifa's got gauntlets, so it's a little bit harder to like bring something epic out of them. Like, I don't know what's going. It looks like a Tron motorcycle on her hand right here, but it does look pretty cool. Yuffie's, though, I mean, that's just a really cool looking weapon. But overall, I would say both costumes are 10 out of 10 aesthetically. All right, now I'm going to go through Tifa first and then Yuffie and just give you guys a basic overview. But I honestly, these are the first costumes in the game that offer a third or a extra command ability. So just based off the bat, they're extremely valuable. It really just depends on your main DPS characters. Like I've said in the past, I recommend like choosing some favorites at this point in time in the game. So I think that's a better way overall to play, unless you have the capacity to, you know, play and pull for a lot of characters. But I know that not everyone does, and so my approach is to just kind of pull for favorites. So deals 2000% physical non-elemental damage against a single enemy. Also applies exploit weakness. Okay, so this would be your first command ability, which would be your first materia slot, right? So now her first materia slot can do 2000% physical non-elemental damage. It does have limited casts. It does apply exploit weakness, which is great for her because now she can stack this with her AC gloves. Potency 40%, duration 60 seconds, and uses 2. So that's fantastic. Then we're going to look at the actual R abilities here. We have Physical and Magic Ward level 3. So Physical Magic Defense 20%, and we have Battler Goggles level 2. Alright, so this is basically Fire, Ice, Lightning, Earth, Wind, Water ability damage plus 30. Why did they give her another Omni Arcanum? That's wild. I guess because like this basically essentially like power creeps her other Omni Arcanums. This is ideally what you would want to use. You can use this with any Arcanum. So actually I can understand why they did this. Honestly, very, very, very good costume for Tifa. Like, super difficult to not pull this. I still recommend, guys, just to give you guys a prerequisite heads up, I recommend waiting for the next banner. This is a whole new realm of possibility we're getting into in Ever Crisis right now, and so I think it's best to not, like, quickly pull the trigger, especially if you have limited resources like myself. Wait for the next banner, overview the entire Nier collaboration, save your crystals, be patient, and then at the end you can choose the best banner that is going to aid your account in getting it up and to be as strong as possible and clear all the content essentially, right? But absolutely fantastic costume for Tifa here. Now let's go and check out the weapon right here. All right, so weapon is the Demon's Impetus. It is a physical attack based weapon. It does look like it is non-elemental damage. Like I said, I feel like non-elemental weapons have lower value in the game than other ones unless they're very good support weapons, right? But there's just not that many non-elemental things. I think this is one of the reasons they made this non-elemental, either so that it has more usability across the board or to kind of lock it into something that they can quickly like move away from. So it's hard to say what their approach is, but let's take a look at this. So 4 ATB cost, Spinning Wheel Flurry, deals 720% physical non-elemental damage to a single enemy, applies physical damage bonus when using physical abilities, deals bonus damage equal to 25% of damage dealt. Okay, range self, duration 30 seconds, plus 10 seconds right here. When HP is 50% or more, physical attack is increased, low to mid, all allies. Hard to say if this will be better than Tifa's Advent Children Combat Gloves, which basically is like an opposite Enfeeble, which raises all the buffs of your entire team by 1 tier across the board, which is very powerful. So in certain setups, if you're really going for a super physically focused DPS build, I think this might be better. But I think in most cases, the AC combat gloves are still going to be very, very, very good. Or at least if we have content where you're fighting a boss that's weak to physical non-elemental damage, you would put both of these, in which case you get the best of all worlds with this weapon, the combat gloves, and the equipment for the exploit weakness, or the exploit weakness. And so, you know, for certain content, like, you're gonna get a very, very, very strong Tifa, but then I feel like this weapon is gonna kind of fall off. But I feel like the boon of this banner are the costumes at this point, right? So you are getting a good weapon, but nothing like absolutely insane, I would say. Our abilities, physical attack over physical ability potency. We have the double physical attack boost for the support abilities and the X sigil boost here. Taking it to OB6, we get 640 physical attack. It'll deal 1080% physical non-elemental damage. The physical damage boost goes to 35% of damage dealt for 45 seconds. And when HP is 50% or more, increases physical attack to all allies high. So pretty strong for sure. Now DPS are going to be able to control most of their own buffing for physical and magic attack. I mean, they've had to some degree that capacity, but maybe it looks like they're going to be getting more in the future. So it frees up more slots for the other healers and supports. So here we go, AOB 6, physical attack 54 over 30. And then OB10, 698 physical attack, 1340% physical non-elemental damage, 40% physical damage bonus. The physical attack is still high to high with a duration of 60 seconds. That's fantastic. So yeah, overall really solid pair of gloves, but I think the costume is really the winner here. Now let's take a look at Yuffie, all right? So here we have Savior Ensemble. Ultra Circling Doom, 4 ATB cost, 2 charges, deals 2000% physical non-elemental damage, also applies Earth Ailment Weakness, plus 50% to a single enemy. Wow. Okay, so her costume can actually convert the weakness of the enemy, which is pretty crazy. Single enemy 90 seconds, cannot be applied to targets resistant to, or targets weak or resistant to earth, which is the same parameters as before with any of these, like apply elemental ailment weakness. You're going to have 2 charges of it, 90 seconds each, so that's 180 seconds, so that's essentially 3 minutes, right? So for Guild War, this is going to be great. For quick battles, it's going to be great. It's definitely a little bit more niche than Tifa's, which I think is kind of good all around the board, but definitely will be super strong in the moments in which you want to use it. Then we have for the R abilities, boost attack all allies, all right, at level 3, okay, which is standard. And then we have Savior Goggles at level 2, which is also an Omni Arcanum. So honestly, both costumes are great. I think it really just depends on which character you like to use more. If you like to use Yuffie more, I think it's basically a given to go for this. This is like her best in slot costume for sure. You know, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, this will be very good. And then for Tifa, it's just a really, really solid overall build that I think will work across the board in a lot of ways. So I think Tifa is more generally applied to more content, whereas Yuffie's is more kind of niched into this thing, but it's still very, very good overall. So really, I think, like I said, it just depends on your account and which character you like more, which character you want to play more. If you want to play Tifa, Tifa's great. If you want to play Yuffie, she's going to be really great, especially when it comes to, you know, cases in which this is going to work well, right? Now let's take a look at the actual weapon here, Fatum Ex Machina. So it's also going to be similar to Tifa's in the terms of power, 720% physical non-elemental damage, 4 ATB cost, Circling Doom. It will apply Enfeeble to a single enemy. Physical attack is reduced, low to mid, and when HP is 70% or more, Earth Resist is decreased, so it's an Earth Imperil as well with a physical attack break while applying Enfeeble. So pretty strong. Definitely going to be a good offhand weapon for Yuffie. This is very focused. Yuffie is much more focused into Earth for this setup right here, where I feel like Tifa is more open-ended. So I think it's just going to depend. I think Yuffie mains are going to be coming in super strong here, but I would say that probably a lot of people will err on Tifa just because it's not as concentrated, but it really just depends what your account needs. At this point, like, all of our accounts are so different that it's hard to say exactly like what would be great in any given circumstance because there's so many other factors that, you know, are at stake here. So our abilities, we have boost attack over boost ability potency, double physical attack boost on the support abilities, and a circle sigil boost down there. Taking it to OB6, it'll be 10-80% physical non-elemental damage, Enfeeble with a duration of 45 seconds. You get the physical attack break high at OB6 with the Earth Imperil high as well. So just very, very, very good weapon for Yuffie, especially pairing with, you know, some of her other stuff. Although her other main strong Earth weapon is magic based, right? So that was the Advent Children event, and this is a more physical focused weapon. So although the R abilities are not physically focused, so that was good that they thought about that this could be still paired with her Advent Children setup because the R abilities are not locked into physical attacks, so that actually works pretty well. And also, if you look right here, the physical magic attack stats are actually very, very close together. Like, it's not like physical attack is like trumping out on the magic attack right here. Like, it's beating it by 10 points, but it's more or less they're pretty much the same, right? So essentially, if we take this to OB10, you get 643 physical attack, 631 magic attack. So this is actually quite a good weapon to be paired with either a physical setup for Yuffie or a magic setup for Yuffie, which works great. So yeah, if you guys, you know, if you're a true Yuffie fan, you love to play Yuffie, this is a great weapon. I think it's also skippable. You know, obviously to some degree, everything is skippable, except for a few things, I think. Typically, Aerith can be, like, unskippable. But yeah, I'd say both are really good. I'm not exactly sure. At this point, I'm leaning more towards Tifa because I feel like there's more, like, open-endedness for that build to be able to use across the board. But I think Yuffie will be absolutely fantastic as well. Alright, so that's going to basically conclude my thoughts on these banners. Like I said, it really just depends on your guys' individual accounts, but I do wish you guys the best of luck on your pulls, or if you're waiting, you know, I wish you guys discipline to wait for the next set of banners, which it looks like Cloud will be on there as well. If we go to the missions here, we go down to, let's see here, General or Campaign. Where is it? General, maybe. Where's the wallpapers? Oh, I get it. It's going to be in the mission panels. Alright, so we'll go up here. Go to the next page. Here it is right there. Boom. So Cloud is definitely getting a fit, guys. There's his sword. It looks pretty sick. The shorts were never really my favorite for the setup for the guys, at least in Nier. So the costume itself for me isn't like as like hype. I think the girls obviously look a lot better here, but it's still a cool setup. I feel like some long dark pants would have been pretty cool, but yeah. So Cloud will be coming probably next week. We don't know if there will be another character or not, but I'm guessing he's going to get a pretty cool setup. So I do recommend just waiting to see and then making the choice then. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do apologize once again that it was late for Thanksgiving. I hope it's still helpful to you guys. If it was, please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.